Speech off.
Hello friends, welcome to Prasanna Kumar Pincha YouTube channel. I hope you are thriving wherever you are. Uh, you know what? Actually, many friends have got in touch with me and have said, "Sir, your discourses are really very useful, and please keep it up." And some of the friends also are also suggesting that, and they say, "Sir, why don't you also uh, record real time video?" And now I explained to them that yes, I am open to this idea, but there are certain technical issues, which is why I am not able to really record real-time video. But maybe in future, I'm open to that possibility. And then, of course, I say that, well, I think my thoughts, my feelings, and my voice reaches you. I think that in itself is also a fairly good thing. And in that context, I quote to them this Hindi song, which the opening lines go like this: नाम गुम जाएगा, चेहरा ये बदल जाएगा, मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है, घर याद रहे. Meaning, and let me paraphrase it. It means the face will melt away. The name will melt away. The face will melt away. The face will disappear. My voice is my only identity, if at all you care to remember. Friends, today actually I'm taking up a topic which is both interesting and useful. And the topic is categorization of persons with disabilities under the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016. I promise you I'll try to be as simple as maybe. And I promise you further that I will try to use as less legal terminology, purely legal terminology as possible, in an attempt to ensure that it is intelligible to all sections of people on an equal basis with others. That's my effort. And I think with your blessings and with your support, to a large extent, I think I will succeed in that. Now, let me begin by saying that the current act had a predecessor. And that act was known as the PWD Act, in short, PWD Act 1995, Persons with Disabilities Act 1995, which has now been repealed and replaced by this new act. Now, the PWD Act recognized 7 conditions as conditions of disabilities, and they were enumerated in a 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence in very simple way. But the current act is very progressive, very ambitious, very forward-looking, and the intention or the objective is to benefit and to reach out and benefit maximum number of persons with disabilities, which is why it actually provides for a very intricate and nuanced categorization of persons with disabilities with the best of intentions. So we'll talk about it, and though the categorization may appear to be a little intricate and nuanced, we'll try to simplify it, and I think we'll succeed in that. We'll succeed in doing so. Now, this act, the current act, has 102 sections. And at the end of the 102 sections, there is a schedule. And the schedule is captioned specified disabilities. It's a list of specified disabilities. That schedule contains a list of 21 conditions. And these 21 conditions are recognized as specified disabilities. And not only does this list contain not only does this list mention 21 conditions, it also defines each of these 21 conditions. We'll come to it a little later. It defines also each one of the, and that is why if you come back to the main act, section 2 of the main act, it defines specified disabilities as that disability which is specified in the schedule appended to the Act. Now, these specified disabilities, 21 conditions, these conditions have been actually put under 5 heads. And the first head is physical disabilities. And lot of conditions are covered under physical disabilities. This include, and I'm just giving you some examples, they include persons with blindness, persons with low vision, persons with deafness and hard of hearing, persons with speech and language disabilities. It also includes persons with locomotor disabilities, persons with cerebral palsy, persons with dwarfism, persons who are victims of acid attack, etc., etc. And then the second head is enlists intellectual disabilities, and then the next head actually enlists mental behavior, which actually also covers mental illness. The fourth head enlists conditions of neurological disorder and blood disorder, which are recognized as part of specified disabilities. And the fifth condition is condition of multiple disabilities, when you have more disabilities than one. And there is a sixth head also, which says that if in future, if the government feels that some other condition also needs to be recognized as a condition of specified disabilities, the government can do so by issuing a notification. Now, now keep it aside. Now, within this, these are all specified disabilities. Now, within these specified disabilities, there is a category of people, and that category is known as persons with benchmark disabilities. And please remember that all the tangible benefits that are enshrined in the current Act, RPD Act, will go to persons with benchmark disabilities. Now, who qualify as persons with benchmark disability? Now, 2 types of persons with disabilities can qualify as persons with benchmark disabilities. And we'll just take a look at what these 2 types are. So I will take you back to the list of 21 conditions which is there in the schedule appended to the Act. And I would ask you to refer to the definitions of each one of the 21 conditions. If you take a look at the definitions, you will see that some definitions do not specify the measurable parameters. They do not specify measurable parameters because measurable parameters cannot be specified, such as many conditions of locomotor disability, except perhaps very few, such as dwarfism, except dwarfism, where they have specified measurable parameters. But other conditions of locomotor disabilities, no. So where the measurable parameters are not specified, there your disability has to be minimum, degree of disability has to be 40% minimum for you to qualify as a person with benchmark disabilities. Otherwise, you will not qualify as person with. So same is the case with intellectual disabilities, mental disabilities, etc. and etc., right? But then some of the definitions in the schedule, some of the definitions of some of the conditions specified in the schedule have measurable parameters inbuilt in them, such as blindness, low vision, deafness, hard of hearing. So there, you don't have to bother about 40%, 50%. There is no relevance of degree of disability there. Either you are a person with blindness or you are not. Either you are a person with low vision or you are not. If you are a person with blindness, you qualify to be a person with benchmark disability, otherwise not. If you are a person with low vision, you qualify to be a person with benchmark disability, otherwise not. If you qualify as a person with deafness or hard of hearing, you also qualify as being a person with benchmark disabilities, otherwise not. Because measurable parameters are inbuilt. Say, for example, when you talk about blindness, which is in the category of visual impairment. So blindness I'm giving you just a portion of the example. It may mean total absence of sight, and it may also mean visual equity less than 3 by 60 or less than 10 by 200 Snellen in the better eye with best possible correction. Or there are other parameters also which are measurable. So wherever you have these measurable parameters, the degree of disability or the percentage of disability has no relevance. Please understand it clearly. Now, within this category of persons with benchmark disabilities, there is another subcategory. And that subcategory is classed as or categorized as persons with disabilities having high support needs or persons with disabilities with high support needs. Because, there are some persons who are persons with benchmark disabilities, but they need intense and continuous support. Say, for example, persons with multiple disabilities who can't even move, persons with profound intellectual disabilities or profound psychosocial disabilities, they need high support and continuous support. So for them, the government would provide additional schemes for their well-being. That would be in addition to the tangible benefits which are available to persons with benchmark disabilities. So now you have what? And then you also have a generic definition of persons with disabilities given in section 2 as. But that generic definition does not create any separate standalone category. What it actually seeks to do is that it just states certain traits which all persons with disabilities across the board, whether they are persons with benchmark disabilities or persons with disabilities high support needs or simply persons with specified disabilities, all of them share in common. And that definition of persons with disabilities have been almost literally copied and pasted from the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So now, one question, of course, arises that, yes, there could perhaps be people who have specified disabilities, but who are not necessarily persons with benchmark disabilities. And when you are not a person with benchmark disability, obviously you cannot be a person with high support needs, person with disabilities having high support needs. Now, please understand one thing. All persons with disabilities having high support needs are necessarily persons with benchmark disabilities, but the converse is not true, meaning that all persons with benchmark disabilities are not necessarily persons with disabilities having high support needs. That's something that you need to really understand. Now, before I conclude, let me recapitulate a few points for you to be very clear about it. One, almost all persons with sensory disabilities, such as blindness, low vision, of course, they are definitely a blind person. If you are a blind person, you definitely qualify to be a person with benchmark disability. If you are a person with low vision, yes, you qualify to be a person with benchmark disability. If you are a person with deafness and hard of hearing, yes, you qualify to be a person with benchmark disability. So this you must understand. Second, all persons with locomotor disabilities may not necessarily be persons with benchmark disabilities. They are persons with disabilities if their degree of disability is minimum 40%. So the degree of disability is not relevant in case of persons with blindness, persons with low vision, persons with deafness, and persons with who are hard of hearing, because the measuring parameters are inbuilt in their definitions. So second is that persons with locomotor disabilities, yes, you have to have minimum 40% disability, except in the case of dwarfism, I guess, because their measurable parameters are given, and dwarfism has been placed under the category of locomotor disability. Same is the case with the persons with intellectual disability. There also the degree of disability has to be minimum 40%. Mental illness, its mental disabilities, at least the degree of disability has to be 40%. Like that. So, multiple disabilities, obviously, if you have severe multiple disabilities, it would naturally be 40%. So, one can safely say that it would come under the category of benchmark disabilities. Third thing that you need to remember is that, that tangible benefits such as reservation in government jobs, reservation in poverty alleviation schemes, all these tangible benefits are actually meant for persons with benchmark disabilities. So if you are a person with high disability having high support needs, obviously you will get the benefit because you are also a person with benchmark disabilities, and additionally you need high support, right? So persons with disabilities, persons with benchmark disabilities are entitled to the concrete tangible benefits that are provided under the Act, right? And there could be a question that could there be people, and perhaps there could be, who do not qualify as persons with benchmark disabilities, and yet they may come under the category of specified disabilities. For example, even in the case of visual impairment, if you are neither a person with blindness nor a person with low vision, but you have some problems with your eyesight, though you do not qualify to be a person with low vision or a person with blindness, so you may still perhaps be categorized as a person with specified disability, but you will not then get the concrete tangible benefits under the Act because you are not a person with benchmark disability. And of course, but I guess that that kind of a person will also get the other benefits of the other provisions, such as, you cannot be exploited, you cannot be discriminated against on the basis of disability, such as these benefits, I am sure, should be available to such persons. So I think enough for today. So we have specified disabilities. Specified disabilities are categorized, are actually given under 5 heads, and 6th head, of course, is that the Government of India can notify any other condition also. And then within specified disabilities, you remember just that you have specified disabilities. Within specified disabilities, there is a category called persons with benchmark disabilities. And the persons with benchmark disabilities have a subcategory, and that subcategory is called as persons with disabilities having high support need. Friends, enough for today. Hope I have been able to convey what I wanted to convey. If you have liked this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and yes, keep listening and keep giving me your feedback. Bye bye.
Speech on. Stop. Button.